Hey everybody, Paul McManus, McManus Kitchen and Bath. Uh, Today I'm going to talk about different types of contractors. So specifically design build remodeling contractors, which is what we are, and traditional contractors. So some pretty obvious differences, but I'm going to run through them real quick, and then we'll kind of talk about the pros and cons of each. And this is all summarizing a blog post that you can read on our website, and I'll link to in a bit. First of all, let's start with traditional contractors. And I've kind of sketched out traditional contractors up here on the page, and then here on the next page, we've kind of got design build and what's that about. So traditional contractors, if any design work or product selection is needed, it's separate from what that contractor does. Traditionally, contractors just do the construction. Now, they may have some design ideas. Certainly, they know a lot about building code and how things need to be built. So they might have some input. Some of them even have thoughts on color choices and things like that. But it's not their wheelhouse. It's not what they do. And most of them don't want to take any responsibility for it. So if you're working with a traditional contractor, what often happens is you might start with the contractor. They'll give you an estimate with allowances in it. And allowances are just sort of a guess about what materials will cost. So they might say, well, you've got $2,000 to buy your cabinets, or you've got $500 to buy your plumbing fixtures. And that's just giving you a budget for what you can spend. That can be a little problematic because contractors often aren't familiar with the cost of those things. So those allowances are usually really low. It happens almost every month. We get someone coming into our showroom saying, hey, we have a contractor and I've got $3,000 or $4,000 to spend on my kitchen cabinets. When in reality, those cabinets are going to cost $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, depending on the cabinet line they choose. And that's not really the contractor's fault. It's just that that's not their area of expertise. And it's sort of natural when you're giving someone an estimate to lowball the allowances because it makes your price look better, right? You don't want to say $20,000 worth of cabinets. It makes your price look high. So that's one sort of flaw in the traditional approach. However, it's been working for years and years. Most contractors operate this way. So they would give you a bid, and then they would leave it up to you to find a designer or to find showrooms to select materials from. Some of them might have designers that they like to work with or have worked with in the past. Others won't care at all. That really sort of depends on the contractor. So that's sort of this process. You find a contractor, you have to find a designer, you get bids from each, you got to put all that together. Then the real challenge for me comes when you get to the project itself. It can be real tough to know who's in charge, right? When the cabinets are going in and they're not fitting the way they want, or it seems like there might be a piece missing, you got to call the designer and they got to come out and help, or should the contractor know all that already? Should they have gotten all that from the designer in advance? Who's going to run the project schedule? You think the contractor would, but if the designer is ordering all the materials, how do we know the materials are showing up on time if the contractor is in charge of the schedule and he's not the one ordering materials? So there's a few different issues that can come up with the traditional approach. And it's one reason more and more contractors are starting to shift towards design build, which is a lot more common these days. And so design build, obviously a lot more straightforward. You as the homeowner go to a design build contractor who does your design work, product selection, and construction all under one roof, right? It's one-stop shopping. And that simplifies the communication, it's more accurate job costing, all that good stuff. So if you want to learn more, you can read this blog post we wrote right here. It kind of lays out more some of the pros and cons. And if you got any questions, feel free to give us a call. Thanks a lot.